Three, two. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Open Shutter Saturday edition, and have the pleasure of welcoming Mark Robinson to the program. So, huge thanks to
Mhm.
Mark for taking the time of his busy weekend to come and chat about what he does. And long story short, is I met Mark, I guess 5 years ago or something like that,
Yep.
at a meetup. I think we actually met up at
Comic
Comic Con.
Con was your meetup that I came down
Yeah,
time. It was great.
we met there, and then you were at the time living in Bowmanville, and then you
Y-
suggested, "Hey, why don't you come out to Bowmanville to my cafe and do a meetup there?" And it was a great day, man.
Yeah, that was a good day. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. It was good. We had some coffees and
Had
everyone
some coffee. Everyone kind of toured
was,
around Bowmanville.
yeah,
It was a nice little time.
yeah.
And then 8 months later, COVID happened. So you just never know what's going to happen. You got to take advantage of the opportunities while you can and visit places where you don't
Exactly.
normally go. So yeah, man, thanks again for taking the time.
No problem.
I'm not sure
My
where you
pleasure.
want to lead off, but maybe for the people that don't know who you are, maybe a quick intro like about yourself.
Well, geez, where do I start? I
Yeah,
grew up as a cabinet maker. I'm originally from England. So my father
love
was
it.
a cabinet maker, and he taught me the trade as a young boy. We came to Canada in '73,
Yeah,
and my parents got homesick for 8 months in '76. I think we went back for 5 or 6 months, and then we came back to Canada. And then, so I grew up doing cabinet work. That was it. My career was chosen for me by my dad, I think. So that's what happened.
yeah,
And then just ventured on through life doing that. And then, like as we met, we had the cafe. We got a cafe in
yeah.
2012 in Bowmanville. Everyone says dream of a cafe, but man, cafe is a tough job.
It's a tough gig, eh?
It's a
It's
tough
not.
gig.
It's not all. It's all. So you don't miss it, or you do miss it.
Not at all.
You don't
Not.
miss it at all.
I think there was some parts my wife missed because of the community spirit. The community was good. The community was good. You meet a lot of people, become friends with everybody, but that doesn't pay the bills sometimes, and it's tough. And we were fortunate; we sold right before COVID hit.
Right.
So we got out of there. And then as I'm getting older, and I've been doing, I mean, I do photography, professional photography, but that was more of a side gig. But I was a
Yeah.
contractor, so I was doing home renovations, and that I was just getting tired of doing the home renovations. So we had to come up with a plan for a future, because when you're self-employed, you don't have the availability of a great pension. You're not paying into a
Yeah.
great pension plan, right? You're
Yeah.
not working for the
Mhm.
LCBO,
No. No. Shout out to the
so
LCBO.
so
Yeah.
so we had to come up with a plan, and my plan was to move north or somewhere. We actually entertained the idea of going out east, right? Everyone
Oh,
talking about going to Nova Scotia,
Maritimes.
but it was a bit too far because our family's still, like, our
Yeah.
kids are still around to the area, and our parents. So we thought, well, where could we go close? So I ended up, actually, my son moved up to North Bay area, small town, and I took a tiny house that I had built and set it up there. And then I went on the I guess the warpath of trying to convince my wife that it would be a great idea if we moved up there. And eventually she came around and understood, it would be a great way of life. I think it was
Yeah.
just tough leaving a home that for 23 years where you've had
Right.
kids and stuff like
Yeah.
that in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But so we decided to list the house and buy some land. And that's what we're doing right now. So we're living up there in a house that my son owns, and we
Yeah.
are building our house. So we just got the concrete pad in, the slabs in. So we're getting ready to frame it now. So yeah, the dream is happening. And
Ah. Is this it?
yeah, that's it.
Is it? This is your house.
Yeah, that will be the
Isn't
house.
that cool?
Yeah. So you can see there that picture you got there is kind of neat, because that whole thing is just sitting on that bed of stone. And
Mm.
all those pipes are 4-inch PVC pipes, and hot air runs through them. And that's what heats the concrete, and that heats the whole house.
Ah.
So the floor is heated with air. One common way now, they run water through the floor, like hot water or warm
Right.
water or warm liquid.
Right.
But I chose this. It's kind of a new, innovative way to do it, where you don't actually need a foundation in the ground underneath. So that house is just sitting on that stone. So that's
Wow.
about 2,000 square feet. What you're looking at there. We have 3 acres, and that's our backyard out there.
Pretty
And
cool.
yeah, just can't wait. Just can't wait. It's yeah, it's a dream come true. We all, like we talked about off camera there. We were talking about, you go to a cottage, you go up north, and then when you're on the way back from that, you always dream of having that cottage or having that property,
Yeah.
and then you get back to work in the city and you forget about it until the next time you go away for the weekend or your friend's cottage. So the next best thing is just move up there and live there. So
Move up
that's,
there, eh?
and you know what? It's like our last chapter. I'm 60 years old now, so
Mm.
this is it. There's nothing after this. This is the plan. We'll spend the rest of our life there, enjoy as much as of it we can, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm still going to have to work. I'm still going to work once the house is built. I'll pick and choose what I do up there. There's lots of work for someone who is a hands-on carpenter or contractor.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, we've been able to reduce our living expenses drastically now. And the plan will be to just, do enough to live and not be burdened with the stress of everything else that we've been dealing with
Interesting.
until now.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. I think the biggest problem is when you're young, you don't realize what's too much until you've got to, or too much stress. The stress piles up, and then stress comes in many, many different, flavors.
Yeah.
And you don't realize and even when we were selling the house, it was a big step for me to do that, believe it or not. Like, I do crazy stuff. Like, I've done Iron Man and whatever. I'll do some crazy things. And people say, you're always doing stuff. But one of the hardest decision was to sell our house, get all the money out of it, and then actually go and be limbo and build a house and do the move. And I was suffering from anxiety, and I didn't even realize what it was until after I realized it was anxiety. It must be when people say they're suffering from anxiety, I think I figured out what it is. And you don't know it at first, but it was. And my wife was too. We were both going through it. And we knew what we wanted to do, but it was just like there's this feeling we had. And now it just started going away once we did it. Once the house sold, once we did the closing, once we moved, everything just started to open up again. It was kind of like the weirdest thing. So
it's like it's like a fear of like the unknown.
It is. I think so.
It's the fear of the unknown.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not one to invest a lot of money and take big risks. Right? Not one of those guys. There's people out there that just do the craziest things with their money. Not me. I was always, never had a lot of money anyways, but I was never one to invest into crazy things and take chances like that. And this was like probably the craziest chance we've ever taken.
Yeah.
And so I think that was it. So now I talk about it, but at the time I didn't know what it was. I was like,
it's always easier after. It's always easier to talk about it after it's done.
Yeah. It's always. Like, yeah, it was really, and I think even when I was younger and raising a family and doing stuff, it was, there's fun things yourself. If someone wants you to do a bunch of photos for a shoot, there's that kind of nervousness and maybe there's some anxiety, but there's also that excitement that creates all that.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you kind of live for. You live for that bit of thrill, right? Like if you're doing a meetup and you want it to be successful.
Yeah. There's a little bit of anxiety. There's a little bit of because you don't really have any control over what's going to happen.
Yeah. And
then you're going to meet these people. You're going to try to show them something, but you don't know who's in a good mood, who's in a bad mood. Like, is the weather going to be okay? Like, if you have all these things in the back of your head where it's like you don't have control. It's like you could, and I always say, just do the best you can. Like, in the end, it's just people.
Yeah.
It's just people.
All those little things start to add up, and then you get into these bigger situations, and you can see where it all kind of builds. And it was like, oh my gosh. So now we're comfortable up there, and now we got the concrete in. That's a big step out of the way. Now it's framing and doing all the woodwork. So so it's exciting, and we're doing it together. Like all that work you see there My
Yeah.
wife and I did
It's
that.
just it's just it's just you it's
Just
just you and your
my
wife.
wife and I, and
There's
so,
nobody else.
and you know the funny thing is,
Wow.
well, I had a guy dig. Some guy brought in a big excavator and he dug out 6 inches of soil off the top where that pad is because we had to get rid of
Yeah.
that. He had a big machine.
Right.
My son has a tractor that he's lent me,
Okay.
but it can't do that kind of work. And it's funny, I tell people that Lisa and I did that, and the response is, "Oh, it's good that she's helping you." And I'm thinking, no, hold on a minute. Lisa and I did this. She didn't help me. We did it.
Yeah.
There's a big
Yeah.
difference between someone helping you do something
No,
and
she's
someone
yeah,
doing it with you.
crazy.
So,
Love it.
but I think that's
Love
just
it.
natural how some people look at it, right? They figure the guy's doing all the work and the wife's just
No
helping.
way.
No,
No
no.
way.
Like she was lugging like 8 by 20 foot sheets of steel. And it was
Wow.
tough. There was blisters and everything, but that's the stuff you usually don't post on Instagram, right?
That's cool, man. That's
But
cool.
yeah, it's been a great project, great experience.
So did Lisa know how to do all this stuff beforehand, or you taught? Like,
No,
how does she know?
she just cut, and the great thing is now she knows everything that's been done in that house. Like I think if
Wow.
I was building it and she was somewhere else and she was going to work or she was at home or whatever she was doing and she just showed up and had a look at it, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But she was helping, we were cutting all the pipes and she was marking them all. Every time I needed a certain number, she would have the list. She knew what I needed next. So she knows exactly how that thing went together. She knows the
Wow.
types of stone that are underneath.
That's cool.
So it was a great experience. So I think she'll get something. I mean, she's built many things. Like she's done other stuff before. But the actual home, when you know everything that's gone inside it,
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
more of like a personal thing.
yeah, it is. It's an achievement.
Yeah.
I think it's
Huge achievement.
and it's tough work.
How many hours a day do you guys work?
Well, the hot days, it wasn't when it was hot. It was try to get there early.
Yeah.
So the plan was I would head over there because it's about 15 minutes from where we're living. So I would head over there early on a hot day and get started.
Yeah.
And then Lisa would feed the dogs and then she would come over with she'd bring her coffee and she would bring lunch and then we would just get stuck in and work. So not only is Lisa, working on the house, she's doing all the other stuff as well. So she's definitely
That's
right.
amazing.
So yeah, it's been good, but we've always been like that. That's what makes a good relationship, right? Not afraid to, do it. So same with the cafe. I mean, man, she worked so many hours in that cafe we had.
Yeah.
It was crazy. There were some times I can tell you she would go in on a Thursday and not come home to a Saturday.
She'd be there for 2 days?
Making cakes.
Oh, making the cakes,
custom theme
right?
cakes, right?
Right.
And
I guess if someone orders a cake, you
orders got to go out,
cake.
and then
Yeah, you gotta make the cake.
typical. You got too many orders, and it always takes longer because maybe
Yeah.
someone go off to work, and you got to cover the front
Yeah.
and make cakes. And I've seen days where she would go home like Saturday, 7 o'clock in the morning. She was there on Thursday.
Wow.
And that burns you out.
Yeah, I guess it would.
That's the game. That's part of the game. But we weren't afraid to do that stuff, so we did it, and that's it. So.
Well, I think it's super inspiring what you guys have done. It's just like.
Well, it shows some people that it can be done, right? You got to have
right.
You got to
right.
I mean, people do build their houses, and you know what I found out? Here's a little tip for you. I didn't know this until the other day. That if you build a house yourself, the first time you can get up to $400,000 of the HST on top of that back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you claim it on your tax?
Well, you fill out forms and you send them in.
Yeah.
And claim that. So you could up to $400,000 worth of expenses. You can claim up to $400,000 worth of expenses. You get the HST back.
Wow.
So that's a nice little.
Look at that, eh?
That's a nice little.
It's good to know that.
Yeah, and someone just told me that the other day. I was talking. I said, "What?" And I googled it. Sure enough, it's all on the Canadian government website.
How many people are actually building their own homes? Is there a stat out there?
Well, that would actually also cover you if you weren't going to build it yourself, but you hired a contractor. It would still cover you up to $400,000. So you don't actually have to be putting the nails in yourself.
Yeah, but if I want to design like a custom home,
and how many people? I don't know. I think there's people that definitely buy it. I know people that definitely hire a contractor to do it.
Sure.
The problem with building a home though is one, buying land, you have to pay for the land pretty much outright. So you need cash in hand. And then getting a mortgage to build a house is tougher than getting a mortgage to
Mhm.
build a house. So you
Mhm.
tend to see older people doing it, like
Right.
us that had a house and we sold our house. We took the equity out, sold it, and now
Yeah.
we're investing that into the build.
Right.
So I think you tend to see a lot of older people doing it and willing to take that chance and build it. And
Yeah. Yeah, because I do see a lot of, like, homes in my area where there's a lot of, like, homes being torn down and there's custom homes being built.
right.
So I guess that would count towards
I guess so,
that.
yeah. And also too, though, custom builders will buy that house and
Yeah.
build a house and put up for sale.
Right. Of
So
course.
you can
Yeah.
do that. And that's the other
Yeah.
way that they go
Yeah.
about it too, right? So they build the house, they
Yeah.
make their, so the guy, he buys a lot, he builds a house with a small crew, and then he puts it on
Mhm.
the market and he makes some
Mhm.
money, and then he moves on to the next one. So he's kind of like,
Mhm. It's a
that's what,
business. It's a
yeah,
business.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Big business, big business.
Yeah.
But yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to get into doing that.
No.
No.
More stress.
You have to manage people. Who wants to manage people in 2020?
Yeah, right,
Not
right.
me.
Well, I think that's the difference between doing it in terms of, maybe kind of taking it back to, like, just making content. It's like there's a difference between doing it for yourself and doing it for other people,
Yeah.
right? Where the home is for you guys.
But yeah,
This is for you.
this
You're
is a,
not,
people say, oh, you're building your dream house. I think you definitely are. To have the house built by ourselves is definitely, I mean, it would be great if someone else could have built it for us, but we can't. The only reason we're building it ourselves is because it's the only affordable way I can do it.
right.
But it also is
Mm,
very enjoyable, and it's honestly someone who's worked hard all their life and worked for companies or worked for clients.
yeah,
You get up in the morning for the last, I mean, this has been going on since the beginning of May,
yeah.
to get up and drive somewhere and just be doing it for yourself without having to worry
Huge,
about
of
going
course.
somewhere else. It's yeah,
A different. It's a different vibe.
it almost play, yeah, it takes a
It's a
while to
different
actually
vibe.
understand if it's real. It
Yeah,
it is, it's
yeah,
mind blowing how
yeah,
amazing it
yeah,
is. And
yeah.
like yesterday, a great example is I had a motorcycle and I was riding a little bit and it was
Yeah,
okay, but it was a nice adventure bike. You go out on the trails
yeah.
and stuff, but I didn't want to do that anymore. So my son made a deal. He traded me the bike for his ATV. Well, where we live,
Okay.
we're on the edge of all like the Northern Ontario trails.
Yeah.
So we made the deal, and then I said to my wife, I said, you know what, you should come out with me. We should go hit the trails. And she goes, oh, I don't know if I want to. I go, do it. Let's do it. So we got her helmet. We went on the trail. She absolutely loved it.
It's
Absolutely
awesome.
loved it. And she
That's
said, I
awesome.
never imagined doing something like this. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
just, and we drove from our driveway. We didn't even have to put the things on a trailer. We headed
That's
to the
great, eh?
trails and
It's
we
a
went out
great,
for an hour
eh?
and a
Like,
half.
you're there. Like, there's no commute. You just go.
It's in your backyard. Like everything's
Yeah.
there. Like there's lakes and there's everything.
Oh,
So
man. It's
again,
gotta
so
be
that,
awesome there in the fall too with the
oh,
leaves.
it's beautiful, stunning. We went for a drive. We're still talking. We went
Man.
there last fall. We went for a drive near Mattawa, and
Yeah.
wow, the Ottawa River runs up there, and the leaves
Right.
were just stunning. Like we couldn't get over. We kept stopping the car, getting out, and taking pictures of
No
leaves.
kidding.
You
No
know,
kidding.
I should have had my drone though. I should next so
Shit.
next
Well,
year.
this year, yeah, I
This
guess
year I'll
this
take
fall,
one out
yeah.
for sure because you could have so much fun with a drone. Taking those
Man.
ball shots up there. So yeah, and that wildlife. So
Jeez.
talking about photography,
Yeah.
now I am shooting weddings mostly. So I have my Nikon gear and I have a 7200.
Yeah.
And a 200 millimeter lens is great, but it's not a great wildlife lens.
No.
And so the whole deal was, well, maybe when the house is done, I'll invest in maybe a 600.
Right.
600
Right.
millimeter lens. But in the meantime, someone said, why don't you get one of those teleconverters
Yeah.
that you stick on your camera between your lens?
Yeah.
So I got pick one up in Toronto the last time I was down for $250. It turned my 200 into a 400. I lost a couple of f-stops, so it shoots at
Mhm.
5.6. But I'm
Mhm.
telling you, I've had a ball with that thing.
Yeah,
Like
right?
some bird photography, some deer. And so
Beautiful.
I think when the house is all done, the plan is I'll take some days and go out and focus on doing wildlife photography, just as a hobby, just to go out and enjoy it. just to capture some of the wildlife up there, because there's like you got your bears,
Like
you got
that guy.
that was in the backyard. Where my son house.
That was
Yeah,
in your backyard. You're having a
but then
coffee
you
and
look
then
out the
boom.
door and you see that.
Wow.
Yeah,
He
because
was
you can see
privileged.
there's some equipment and stuff behind it, but he was just standing there. They walk across the driveway and go
Yeah.
across the street. We're in a little town, but they just walk,
Right.
wander. But check that picture out. See how his ear is behind him and in front of him. He's listening to behind and in front.
Yeah.
He's got the whole area
He's
covered.
got the whole surveillance. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole surveillance
That's
camera.
cool, eh?
Yeah.
That's
So yeah,
awesome.
but that was it. Just that was with the converter on the 200 actually.
So it's working out for you then.
Yeah, so that was fun. And I also have a telescope. I have a 6-inch Dobsonian telescope. And I recently, I haven't used it yet, but I picked up an adapter to put the telescope, or put my Sony A7 III on the telescope, so I can shoot like some of the planets and stuff like that. So I haven't even ventured into that yet.
Oh,
So
man.
that's on the list. So I'm trying
Oh my
not to,
God.
the attention deficit disorder. I'm trying to hold off with all this stuff until that. That was the eclipse we just
October of
had.
last year.
Yeah, no, that was last year.
Yes, that's
That
October
was
of 2023.
okay. So that was the daytime. That was the partial eclipse we had.
Wasn't
But that was
this
with
year's?
that was with the telescope in the daytime with a solar filter on my telescope.
Right.
Yeah.
It must get so dark up there too. Eh?
And that picture, I just stuck my iPhone to the lens of
you
the
did. You did.
telescope,
Eh?
because it's hard. I had the new iPhones. Well, the one I have only 2 cameras now. I upgraded to the 15, and I only got 2. I didn't get the Max this time, but the Max has 3 lenses on it, and I couldn't do it as easy taking a picture through a small telescope because all the lenses kind of had to be working. But that's just shot through the telescope. But
you have a photo of this year's eclipse?
I might have put it on there. Oh, maybe not.
Maybe
not on there. Maybe I've been so busy. I haven't been keeping up with the Instagram, I guess. But
it's all right. Look at that. I like that too.
That's the new backyard.
That's your new backyard. And I guess the fall colors get there earlier than down in Toronto, right? Like, is it earlier? Like,
yeah, I don't know. Well, see, there's a lot. The other thing too is there's a lot of like pine trees up there, so there's a lot of greenery all the time. So you can see a lot of those trees are not all. There was an astrophotography in there too with
I saw that.
Long exposure, but that trying to capture the Milky Way there. But
it must get pretty dark up there.
It does, yeah.
Right, like you must get some really, really great skies.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's for that kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to spending some time with the astrophotography and mess with that.
Yeah.
And but yeah, just getting outdoors. See, I got fed up with the outdoors, but I was living in Bowmanville in the city. You just don't get out much, like.
Well, because you're living in the city, and now, that's what we do when you live in the city. You just stay indoors.
You do. You don't go out.
Because everything's there for you.
My
TV,
wife said
internet.
When we talked about moving up, she said, but the winters are so cold and everything like that. And I said, the winters are same length as they are down in Toronto. Thing is, we never go out anyways. You'll go out more now.
Yeah.
Because the air's fresher and it will feel better. And you'll enjoy it more. And so I think, whether we get a snowmobile or not, it's another story. But
you might need one, I guess, eh? A snowmobile.
We won't need one. It will be a toy, but nah. We might not have any money left after we build the house.
Yeah. maybe just like a pack of wolves or something.
Well,
there's more with a pack of wolves on the sled.
I do have snowshoes, so we can do snowshoes. Or it's better for you to do snowshoeing, better for your heart.
I guess so. Eh?
So so that's life now. So it was kind of I didn't really, honestly, my wife, it was harder, I think, for her.
Yeah.
Leaving everything behind. For me, I was just like, I'm done. I'm gone.
You're ready to go.
I wasn't looking back.
You're ready to leave. Yeah.
My bags were packed a long time ago just to get out.
Yeah.
Well, the area changed, and I like
Bowmanville did.
You know what? I like honest people, community.
Yeah.
And it's funny we never really knew our neighbors in Bowmanville. We never got to see. We didn't spend
Oh
any time.
no,
Now
really?
they come and people are flipping houses and moving in and out all the time. They don't have
Mm.
that. And where we're living now, um, well, where we're going to be living, we're on a dead end street, but there's a couple across the street that have lived there for 40 years. They're in
Wow.
their late 70s, and they're the nicest people you could ever meet. Caring, he's always offering if I need anything, if I want to borrow his tractor, if I need this,
Yeah.
if I need that.
Yeah.
They're so sweet. And just to
It's
be
nice.
around that is just that's just
It's a
me.
different vibe up
I'm
there,
an
man.
old soul getting
It's a
older.
different vibe up there. It's
It is. It
people will
is.
actually say hello as they're crossing
Yeah.
you on the street. Meanwhile, in Toronto, they may just give you the finger. So
Yeah, it is. It is a different
a
it is
different
a different
vibe, man.
vibe. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's like everything. I mean, you see a lot of poverty up there too. I mean, there's a lot of poverty in the city, but up there, there's people that don't have a lot of money. I mean, maybe for years they haven't worked. They live in an old house that's run down.
Right.
So you definitely see that, but
Yeah.
you appreciate what these people have been through. It's not
Yeah.
easy, right? Especially when the
Mm.
prices of everything going up.
Yeah.
Like everyone's jamming you, right? It's like
So you guys are actually going to live in Bonfield? Is that where you guys? Is that
Rutherglen is the little town. It's right next to
Rutherglen?
Bonfield is where
Rutherglen.
we are now, but the little
Hmm.
town is called Rutherglen.
Rutherglen. Okay.
It's a little community called Calvin. I don't even think I think they have a town hall, they have a dump,
Yeah.
they have a fire station, and they
Yeah.
uh,
And they're gonna have a cafe soon.
no,
Hope you guys
actually,
like
no, they're
cakes.
not. I can guarantee you.
Hope you guys
You
like
can come for
cakes.
coffee, but the coffee's free.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh my God, I could.
Oh
Well, the funny thing
wow.
is, up the street from us, up the street at the Highway 17, there's a gas station and a hardware store,
Right.
like an actual home hardware. But it was open all last year, but in the fall of last year, they had a diesel truck came and had an oil spill,
Oh wow.
and it's been closed ever since. So the beauty of having a gas station on our doorstep and a hardware store while you're building a house when you need like one
Yeah,
part
it's
is
right
not there
there.
for us right now. We drive by it all the time, but it's not open. So
Oh my God.
Home Depot's like a 25-kilometer drive, so which is not bad when there's no traffic. 25 kilometers.
What's the closest town to you then?
North Bay.
North Bay would be it.
And North Bay, and then if you really want to go, you go to Sudbury, which we've been a couple of times now. They have
Yeah.
a Costco, so
Okay.
it's an hour and a half
Okay.
from us. So an hour and a
Okay.
half to get to a Costco and all your big stores. But North Bay has a Rona, it has your Home Depot, Canadian Tire,
Right.
has your Winners, has a Home Sense,
Yeah.
so grocery store, has all that. It has a hospital. So North Bay's,
Okay.
I don't know what I could compare it to. I don't think it's as big as Oshawa, obviously, because Oshawa's really spread out.
Yeah.
But
Interesting, man.
but yeah, it's I know some people say, why the hell do you want to go to North Bay? But then you talk to somebody else and they go, oh, it's so lovely up there. So it's all perspective, right?
Depends on the person.
It
Yeah,
does.
it
It
depends on what
really
you want. It depends on what we were just talking offline about. It's important to know what you want, because from there you're gonna do things that kind of support that. But sometimes people either don't know what they want or they don't know how to get what they want. Like there's a blockage there. Like how do I
Yeah.
actually like start a cafe or like start photography or like move up north? Like how do I actually do this? And people get stuck there sometimes, I think.
Yeah, well, the thing is, sometimes too, you get an idea and you do it. Like you start a cafe, but once you get into that cafe, you're stuck in there.
Yeah.
You can't get out.
Yeah.
You got to find a way. You got to find an exit plan from that.
Sure.
But yeah, I think for us, this is a massive step in our lives, and it's definitely
it's a new experience.
It's exciting. Yeah, it is.
New experience. Be open to like new experiences.
For some people, you just so what? You sold your house and you're building one. Big deal. And it is true. It's for some.
I think it's a huge deal.
Yeah,
I think it's a humongous deal.
Well, some people, like I know people that move all the time. They constantly,
but they're not built like they're not actually building their home.
Yeah, and exactly. Something goes wrong.
There's a huge difference there.
Yeah, it is.
But
it's very exciting. I think when it's all said and done, and I'm sitting back in the house, I think will be a constant feeling of pleasure.
Oh
Because
yeah.
when we renovated our house before, like we put a new kitchen in our last house, and even until the day we sold it, we kept saying, "Man, I like this kitchen." So it was a good feeling. So I can only imagine what it's like when you build a
Yeah.
house yourself.
Yeah.
That constant walking in and going, "Oh yeah,
Yeah. I did that.
yeah."
And also, it must be like you might like just because you're building your own house, you have a lot of creative freedom, no? Like you're like
Oh,
you're able to
huge.
like design things
Exactly. We
the
designed this
way
house
that you want.
exactly the
Like
way
it's
we wanted,
huge.
right? Big kitchen. We
Yeah.
wanted our bedroom to have two big doors that slide open into the living room,
Right.
and then the living room right through to the kitchen,
Right.
just to have that flow.
Yeah.
And I wanted to. I got a few years ago. I got right back into listening to vinyl again
Yeah.
because I'm 60. I grew up with vinyl,
Yeah.
and so part of the plan was having a 20 by 11 music room with my stereo
Beautiful.
system in there,
Oh man.
soundproof, so I can just listen to music at night. And
That's awesome.
I just love that. So I'll have that. I'll probably have a cabinet with all my camera gear and a
Uh,
dartboard, and
like a
then
man cave almost. In
exactly,
a
yeah.
way.
But just a place that I can have, and then we'll have guest room, the extra bathroom, utility room, mud room, and that's it. We're going to build a
That's
garage,
nice.
but just all the rooms that we want,
Yeah. It's
the
the way
way
that it's done to the way that you wanted it done.
exactly,
The
because it's us all
creative
the time.
expression.
If someone comes and visits, that's great.
Hmm.
But it's always us there. And
Yeah.
yourself, right? Wherever you're living, it's people say, "Well, why do you have that?" Well, that's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
That's how
makes.
I that's how I that's yeah, I
And
think it's
another
super
thing we
cool.
have too, and you might want to try this out. I built a tiny house
Love
um,
it.
before COVID, but it's like a 20-foot tiny house on wheels, and it's state of the art inside. So it's got fridge, freezer, propane. It's got air in and out. And I think there's some picture. There might be some
Is it
pictures.
these? I'm on your Tudor Castle site.
No, I think no, it might be on my Instagram. Some shots of it.
Yeah,
But you'd have to scroll back quite a bit. But
sure.
they yeah, that's worked out fantastic. So I'm gonna kind of offer it up to my friends, saying, "Hey, you guys want to come up and experience North Bay, the tiny house?
Yeah.
Just to come and experience, 3.5 hour drive, and you get or 4 hour drive depending on where you're living, and stay in the tiny house for a few days and go out and about and do what you want." But it's a great. I lived in that thing all year while I was building my son's house last year.
Yeah, how was it?
Great, quiet, peaceful. you know, um, I got an air system in it that is constantly taking air in and out.
Right.
So it's fresh. The air is fresh inside. It has a shower, instant hot water.
But I think tiny homes are becoming very popular these days, aren't they? Like they're getting more
Well,
popular in terms of just
I,
because the cost of
I
living is so high and
yeah.
everything.
Well, here's the deal on tiny houses. I wanted to do it because I just thought it would be a fun thing to do. So I bought an actual, like, those cargo trailers. You see the guys using them for work. They're black trailers. The back folds now. So I built it in one of those. And the thing with tiny houses is like if you don't have a lot of money,
Right.
you think of what can I get with my money.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with a tiny house is it's a lot of work to run because when winter comes, it's tough.
Okay.
Like unless you've got your hydro, you've got water running, you've got all those things that you have in the city. You don't necessarily have those where you have your tiny house. So if you want to
Mm.
have a tiny house, you need a
Yeah.
place to put it first off, right?
Right.
And in order to have a property so let's say you buy a lot.
Yeah.
Well, now you need hydro. So you got to pay hydro to come in and put hydro on it.
Yeah.
Now you need water.
Yeah.
Now you need a well.
Yeah.
You might as well just build a house by the time you do all this stuff. And then you need your tiny house. Now, it's a good idea if, let's say, for example, your parents had a big property and they said,
Mhm.
hey, go ahead and put the tiny house there. Then that's great because you could tap into everything.
Right.
But unless you want to living in Canada in the middle of winter in a small building that you're relying on to keep warm, it's tough. Like it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. So it sounds glamorous, but there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of challenges along the way, and you're homesteading almost. And when you homestead, you're constantly doing work. Like whether if you could have a wood stove in there, you need firewood. You got to do this. It's
Right.
not like when you live in the city and you're in an apartment. You just go to work in the morning. You get up, you walk out, you go to work, you come home, you pick up your McDonald's on the way home, and then you go in your front door and you go down you
Yeah.
go in your apartment or whatever, and then you start gaming. And then you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, I got to get out of here. Maybe I'll get a tiny house." Well,
Yeah.
it's not as and I presented the whole idea of like to the municipality of Clarington, where I was living in Bowmanville,
Right.
about letting people have like secondary properties so people can live on them, like seniors, like let them have a small building where the parents can live on the same property as the kids. Like
Right.
we look after people, but it's all about money and extra taxes and not cluttering
Sure.
properties and all that kind of stuff. So it's money first, people
Yeah.
second.
It gets messy. It gets messy when you
It
when I
does.
guess you go through
And
the government.
but it's a two-way street too, because you know what happens. Sometimes you let people do stuff like that, and then they get messy, and they build the crappiest freaking
Sure.
tiny house in the backyard next to your house,
Yeah.
and then you want to sell it, right?
No
And
bueno.
then you can't sell your house for what you want to sell it for because the guy next door has made a mess of his. So that's the protection. So I understand it. But the thing is, you can't rely on people to do the right thing all the time. So
Right.
you're up against that. So yeah, tiny houses sound great, but and you gotta buy the thing. You can't mortgage one. So to get a good tiny house today, you'd have to spend $100,000.
Is that right?
Yeah, sure.
$100,000?
If you want it on a proper trailer and built it, if you build it yourself, you don't have to. But the one I built, I can tell you right now, and it's only 20 feet. We put $30,000 plus HST into the trailer and everything else inside it.
Right.
I'm not building it. So you might as well just double that if you want someone to build it for you. So you're at 60,000, and it's only really good for one or two people.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't even have a pet in there, really, to be honest with it.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't even
20 feet? Yeah.
20 feet by 8. You live in
20
that.
feet by 8.
And then you say, "Oh, I had a sunroom outside that you could sit in, but the sunroom's no good in the winter."
No.
It's great in summer. You take your boots off and but in the winter you got to close those doors real quick or your heat's gone.
Yeah.
Like even if you doubled that size, even 40 by 8 is not like a shipping container size. It's not massive.
Yeah.
So I think, you really need to, if someone says to me, "Oh, I'd love a tiny house," I say, why?
Why?
First,
Build it. Build
it
your
may
home.
be the perfect thing for somebody, but I think a lot of people that get you know what? It's Instagram candy, right?
Well, that's the thing, right? You go on YouTube or Instagram and you see all these tiny home people, and they're living the dream in like a treehouse, and then I want that.
They're just doing it to take pictures. Half
They're doing it to take photos. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like you figure, you go out for a day. It's funny. You go out, you shoot a wedding.
Yeah.
And you shoot that one shot. There's always one shot at a wedding that's like your shot, like that one money shot. There's not two, there's one. There's only one picture that is really the best picture of the day. You post that on your Instagram. It took you all day to get that.
Yeah.
You work hard to get that. Like,
of course.
And but yeah, what you see on Instagram is just an illusion. It really is.
Lies.
And even I play that game. Sure, you go out and shoot all day and say, "Oh, we had a great day today. We got this picture," but then it's all this crap that it took to get that picture. It doesn't get posted.
I like when people like show like what it took to get.
Well, that's
like,
it.
A photo. I think that's more interesting.
Right? Yeah. You can play the game two ways, right? You can show the frustration of life and how hard it is and stuff like that. You can just show the glitter and the glam.
Yeah.
But some people show both. I mean,
I like it when people say I worked all day and got nothing. That's life.
Yeah,
that's life.
But the thing is, let's say you engage in that and you post it on social media and you do that, and everyone's commenting on that, so you spent all night talking to people about the shitty day you had.
Yeah,
I just want to forget it. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I know, right?
Let's not bring it up.
Yeah.
But it's like building. I mean, I talk to people and stuff, and I don't care. I'll tell them how hard it is, but It's and it is like I said, I look past all that stuff. You see a picture of
Yeah.
something great out there, but you know, but that's half the battle, right? You can't have good without bad. I don't think you can't.
You
If
no, you
everything's the
can't.
same, you know, I think people have said this, and I think philosophers have said this, but if everything's the same,
Yeah.
nothing can be judged.
No, that's a good
You
point
can't
though.
have great. You can't have something great if you don't have
Yeah.
something not so great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
I
unless you
like
live
that. I
your
like
life, like people say, you do stuff all the time. You know, you did this, and you guys are doing that. You did the cafe. You did, and I'm like, yeah, but that's only just, and it's great and all, but thing is, like, you fail a lot along the way,
yeah. Sure.
right?
Of course.
But that's part of it. That's part of it. Failing just opens the door to achieving something down the road. You got to bounce back. You always bounce back.
Well, I think that's just what separates people, right? That's what
Yeah.
separates people in the end. Over the long run, it's the people that just kind of keep going.
Hmm.
Will eventually get you there. It may take a
Exactly.
year, it may take 5 years, it may take 10 years, it may
Yeah.
take 20 years.
And
You don't know how long it's going to take.
I think you have to enjoy the journey along the way. And if you don't enjoy the journey along the way, I think that's
Yeah.
a big, like for now we're enjoying building this house. So
Sure.
it's not about getting the house done. Sure it is. That's the end result. But at the same
Yeah.
time, we're like, when we had the concrete poured the other day, we just had moments together saying, oh, thank God that's done. Oh, what a feeling.
Yeah.
And it was like we could have got stuck because it could have been canceled because the weather was looking bad.
Right.
But the weather got pushed ahead. The rain got pushed ahead to later on in the day. So the guys went ahead with it. But we had to organize a guy to level and smooth the put the concrete in.
Yeah.
We had to organize and get the pump truck that pumps the truck that the concrete trucks will pour into, and then the pumper pumps it over. So you got 3 people in the mix that you got to line up for 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Something can go
Everything
wrong,
has to
right?
align. Everything
And
has
it's
to align.
like, it's not cheap, right? Like
I
truck.
can see how that's stressful and also
Yeah.
anxious. Yeah, I can see that.
So you're and everything at that point is costing you money.
Yeah.
Like the concrete's not cheap, the pump truck's not cheap, the guys putting it in not cheap. And then that's one day something gets done that I don't have control over because I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one job I'm not doing. I wasn't putting the concrete in.
Mm-hmm.
Did everything else, but didn't do that part. But no, it went well.
Are you guys documenting this whole thing like for yourself, either through photos or
Yeah,
like
we're taking
journaling
photos and
or
videos and stuff and just
just so you
stack
can,
in the iCloud.
yeah.
And then maybe later we'll do a little flip back and stuff. But then again, I thought Lisa said, "Oh, we should have a YouTube channel," and I said, "You know what?
Yeah, I thought,
It
yeah, I
doesn't
was
work,
gonna
but it
ask
doesn't
that.
work. But the problem is, yourself, right?
Yeah.
A YouTube channel
Yeah.
is work.
It is work.
It's like it's like building a house. You're building a channel, but the thing is, a lot of people. I said to Lisa, "I'm building a house, not a YouTube channel. I don't want to. I'm not interested in doing."
People may want to learn how you did it, and they may want to do it for
But
themselves.
you know what? If someone wants to know, call me and I'll
Call
tell.
Mark up.
I'm not. And you know what? You start doing stuff you start building a house on YouTube. You know what? Every 5 seconds, there's an idiot coming in saying you did it wrong.
I guess.
Oh, I wouldn't do it like that. Why's the guy doing it? The guy's not professional.
Right.
I don't need that noise in my life. And so I'm sharing it. I usually share it on Facebook. Usually I'm, 60 years old. Facebook's the go-to page.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram is great for communication and stuff like that and stuff. But I use Facebook because the people that I communicate with are usually on there. So we usually just post some updates. People are watching it progress. And then I'll talk to somebody one day and then they'll say, "Hey, I've been watching all the progress." And I never even knew they were following it because they're not even commenting on it, but they're following and they're watching. So friends and family and any other bystanders who want to watch it, they can follow on Facebook. But I'm not making
You're not making a whole thing
billboard
around it.
Yeah, I think at the end we may do a little video and stuff like that. But
yeah, I think that'd be cool. Like a little over not like a time lapse, but like the way how the whole house was built. I think that'd be super cool.
Well, I don't know if you ever saw that I was doing a kind of a podcast show over COVID. My wife and I were doing.
I remember.
My wife and I was doing. We were doing one for our friends and stuff, and just goofing off and
I remember.
I had like a month off, and we had a lot of fun doing that. And then we started doing our the Caffeinated Couple podcast. But then again, it's a lot of work, and attention disorder. I went on to other stuff, but I was doing something with some friends of mine, two guys I used to play in a band with, and we were doing comedy chords and chaos, and we put a little show together. We did
I
every
remember.
it was like 9 o'clock on a Tuesday or
Yeah.
Wednesday. I don't remember what night it was, but it was really for us to hang out. And if anyone wanted to join us, jump on in, but it wasn't about, but we had a laugh. There was nights we did that. We do it live. And I was in tears from laughing so much. We had so much fun. But we used to actually put we had sections of the show. It was almost like Saturday Night Live in a sense, but we had a ball doing it. But you know what? At the end, I was so busy with work and stuff. I said, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But I do miss that. That was a lot of fun. Comedy chords and chaos. And we used to have a musical guest. We had some Juno winners and stuff on the show.
It was a full-on production, man.
It was a big production. I spent quite a bit of time on it, putting it all together production. And 3 cameras and whatnot and all the slides. And we had all these we had news clippings up on the screen all the time. Like you're pulling stuff up there now. It's not, you gotta have a plan and, but I think I'm glad I did it though, because it was a lot of fun. Good memories.
Yeah, I think that's what it's about. I think it's just being open to new experiences and being open to new things. We were talking offline about being retired and all that. And, you shouldn't just sit in a chair when you're retired. Don't be retired from life. Just do something else,
Because you seize up. I'm seizing up now. I'm 60 and I'm always moving.
Oh no. Oh no.
I don't even want to sneeze some days because it hurts so much. But you're back and it does. It gets
yeah.
Well, I'm lifting all the time, right? You're a contractor.
True, right?
Morning, you drive to Home Depot, you pick up a bunch of tiles, you put them in the back of the truck, you drive to the house, you got to carry your tools.
Yeah.
Man, by 10 o'clock you're exhausted and you haven't even started putting tiles on the wall yet. You do that, you come home at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, or maybe not that.
That's work. That's real work, man.
It's hard work. And you do that all your life, you just get tired of it. And I had to break down the barriers and say, I got to change. But it's scary, scary doing stuff like that, packing and changing. So,
well, I mean, again, I think it just shows that it can be done. You just, you got to be open to the change. You got to be open to the change.
Yeah, you got to be brave.
Open to it.
We talked about earlier, even doing this, there was anxiety. There's anxiety making a change like that. Like anything, right? Like you're standing at the start line, like a race. You're standing at the start line. The gun goes and you got to do it right.
And go, and then okay, all right.
No. Yeah,
it's great, man. So you're doing weddings now?
No, I haven't done a wedding for a while. Don't even remember the last time I did a wedding. It's been a while, but I might fire it back up. I got some. I do some a little bit of real estate photography up here now in North Bay. I've hooked up with a couple of people, so I've been doing that. Not major stuff, but doing some drone shots for some people that are building property. So I do weekly updates for them, so they have shots and stuff like that. I have a shot for someone who built a beautiful home, or a designer who built a beautiful home down in the Clarington area. I think it's going in Style magazine, so I'm going to go shoot that.
What?
Yeah. So I'm going to shoot that one. So I'm going to do that, and maybe in a month I'll shoot that one. And I used to do quite a bit of magazine work, believe it or not, just for independent people that are putting stuff into magazines. And so
how's that process like? Shooting for a magazine?
Well, I wasn't. I'm shooting this for the client who's now submitting to the magazine, so they buy the photos. So they'll take care of everything from that point. I'll shoot for them, and they'll put them in. Drone stuff. No, in home interior. Yeah.
Where it's all staged and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know if there's any drone shots required in this, but. So I might put the bug out in people's ears for wedding photography up here too.
Yeah, you never know, man. You never know who's around.
I mean, we'll see. I've got a good portfolio, so I just got to get it out there. So I talked to my wife. Maybe I'll get her to take control of the marketing side of it.
Yeah.
And then I'll just pick a trade and just do some odd work here and there and like that. So that's the plan. But
interesting.
Yeah, still got to eat.
Still got to eat. Still got to pay the bills, I guess.
Yeah. There's always bills, even if you build your own home and out of your own money you made, there's still bills.
Yeah, it never ends. Yeah. Just a fact. Just
of
life.
Phone bill. Just the cell phone bill is enough to piss you off
right?
when you don't. Yeah,
Is that
it's
right?
amazing
Eh?
though what it costs to live, right? Like you figure, like if you're driving an automobile, like it's
Well,
just
it just it's not getting cheaper, and it never will. It's just gonna get more expensive. So we are talking offline about how people are leaving the city and going outside the city, going north, going east, going west, and
yeah. But those
especially
communities, like people, a lot of people going to Barrie.
yeah,
A lot of people going to Barrie, but the thing is, Barrie's catching on. The prices are going up. Right?
sure,
Everything's getting
sure,
expensive in Barrie too. Barrie's going to be
sure,
as expensive as Mississauga.
yeah,
Eventually, people keep doing that, and then they're stuck with the commute or the. I know working from home has become a big thing,
yeah.
but then you're relying on working from home for that company. But the thing is, if that company no longer exists, can you get another job working from home?
I don't
Who
know.
knows? It's not like
You guys
like
start building homes.
if you're working for a company and they said you can live anywhere in the world,
Yeah,
and you say that's great, I'll move into the Arctic, and you go to
yeah,
the Arctic and you're working up there and everything's great. The company says, I got bad news for you, we're closing down.
yeah. And now you're in the Arctic.
Now
Oops,
you're in the Arctic, but
with
there's
a
no
polar
jobs
bear.
because no one else is gonna pay you to work up there over the phone. So it's scary too. You're putting yourself in a situation. So, but
Yeah, yeah. It's just yeah. I don't know. I think again, I think it just boils down to like knowing what you want and like what you're willing to risk to get it. I guess, right? Because
yeah, I
you
guess it
know,
depends on. I love to find out how people think because I know how I think, and I, I know. The plan I made along the way. I made decisions that weren't great, like
yeah,
through life, right? Like
yeah,
especially financial decisions you make,
right.
and they don't teach us that. I know tons of
No,
people talk about this. They don't teach in school how to look after your money.
no.
They don't teach you how to look after your body. They don't teach you how to look after your health. The two
Mental
most
health too.
important the two most important things you need is health and finance.
Yeah,
And they don't teach you that in school. You don't need
yeah.
math. You don't
You
need
need
all that stuff. You
finance
don't
literacy. But
you don't
I
need,
think they are going to start teaching finance literacy in school. I
yeah,
think.
they should start like at age
Yeah,
like 6. Like
yeah,
right away. There's no reason why a kid can't start at school, have a system where they like the classroom has a system where they have to use currency
sure.
and they have to save it,
Yeah, you gotta save
and
it.
then if you do good on a test, you get a few bucks. That's how the world works, right?
I want you as my teacher, man. I'm gonna make a few bucks.
Well,
I
I'm
think
not
I'd be
giving you
pretty.
real money.
I think I'd be
You're
pretty
getting
broke.
monopoly money, just so you know. You're just going to
Monopoly
be monopoly.
money.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is it. Like how to look after your health and stuff. Like
Yeah. Well, especially
people.
mental health too.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Big time.
but
Huge.
all the things that we talk about all day today results in the outcome is your mental health.
Yeah.
If you don't have any money, you're going to suffer mental health. If you
Yeah.
don't have a job, you're going to suffer. If you got poor health, you're going to suffer mental health.
Yeah.
So people say, "Oh, mental health," but we're not fixing the problem. We're
Yeah.
not solving anything, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, and then you have a hobby. Someone says, "Have a hobby. Go do something to take your mind off things." Well,
Right.
and you need money. Do you know any hobbies? Do you know any hobbies that don't cost any money?
Ah, man.
Photography certainly isn't one.
Yeah. I don't know. Hobbies that don't need any money? Oh man, I don't know. I think you
Yeah,
do need money.
you do. You need money for any hobby. I think you got to buy wool.
Yeah.
You got to buy wool if you crochet. My wife crochets stuff.
Right. Right. Yeah. I guess you do need money if you want a hobby. Yeah.
Yeah, every time you change color, you got to have another.
Right.
It depends how much you spend, but yeah, I know.
Yeah. I don't know how to fix the problem, man. It's I don't know. I have no idea, but
Yeah,
it's good to talk
I,
about the house up in school though, for sure.
yeah. I wish the school system would change. I remember. Well, our 4 kids went through school, and it was a disaster. It was a
Really?
disaster.
Why? Why?
Just seeing the school system at that point. I
The
had one.
same.
I had one kid who didn't want to be there. Well, probably had 2 kids that didn't want to be there. Probably they all didn't want to be there, but one
Yeah.
didn't want to be there. They just want to skateboard.
Of
But he
course.
was bright kid. Bright kid.
Tony Hawk, man. Tony Hawk.
Yeah, it's all these guys. So why is the system not saying this kid is brilliant? Give him a camera.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what you're doing today, son? Go out there and you're going to photograph all around the school today.
Yeah.
You're going to come back and show me what you got.
Yeah. But is it because teachers are limited to what they can do within the school system?
Well, yeah, it's a combination of a lot of things. And I
You
think
know?
I look back to when we were in school, it was strict, it was tough, right?
Yeah.
But then slowly people of my generation said, "Oh no," they started getting real sensitive with their kids, and "Oh no, you can't do that. You can't make him stay after school. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do this." So my generation started changing the rules of what the parents could do, and it just kept getting worse.
Mm.
The parents are half the problem. I mean, the school system had to change because the parents wanted it to change, and now
Right.
now it's out of control. It's just but
Yeah.
eventually you won't even need school because it will be AI and YouTube. Look how much stuff you can learn on YouTube.
Well, it's happening now.
It
Happening now.
is.
AI and YouTube. Yeah. We're all graduates from
Yeah,
YouTube
something we
University. We're
are.
all grad. Well,
If you're
again, like
if you're a photographer,
yeah,
you're
you
a
don't.
graduate from YouTube.
Yeah, like you don't need to go to film school or photo school or whatever. You just
No.
pick up a camera and start going, right? So
Yeah,
that's why going, taking it back to like the school, like if the teacher like realizes that this kid is talented, a teacher should like encourage that
that's the problem.
kid to like
They're
keep
not
going.
teaching the kid the way the kid needs to be taught,
Like the kid
and they're
doesn't
not
want to learn
letting the kid
math,
express themselves the right way.
right?
So you're putting all the kids in the classroom thinking,
Yeah,
okay, Johnny, you're all going to be lawyers,
that's what I
right?
mean. Yeah, exactly. You're pushing the kid
And you got
to
to do all these things, and the thing is, I don't want to do that.
yeah, exactly.
I
The kid
never
to
wanted to do that,
exactly.
you know.
So
And yeah, it's just you need to to see what these kids are capable of. You
of
can't
course,
change a child to
no,
you can't change a kid to that wants to do this to do that.
no,
It's
not
impossible.
gonna work
And
out.
I'm not. You can't. The system is so big, and the mistakes are so big. The
Yeah,
problem is so big. You can't fix it.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can't fix it. You can't fix the problems with the Canadian government. You can't.
yeah.
We can talk about it. We can talk and post all day long. We will never ever solve those problems.
No, they'll
They
always
either
be
got to
there.
solve themselves, and
They'll
the only
always
way
be
that
there.
happens is it just collapses eventually. But that's
Right.
the only way it will solve. You can't. People think they're saving it right now. They're typing. They're, they're trying to change
Keyboard
it.
warriors.
Yeah, they're
Keyboard
trying to change
warriors.
the government, and that's yeah, it's just terrible. So,
Well, you change it. You change it at the polling station. That's how you
but
change it.
well, you try to, but the
You
thing is,
try
doesn't matter
to.
if you get in at the end of the day. So for
Yeah.
me, to close everything off, is I just figured, well, I'm going to change everything for me and
Yeah.
just change my direction, escape it all, and go live in the country. And that's the main reason.
You're doing it for you, which I love,
Yeah,
and for Lisa, which is important. So, when is the house going to be done? You think you guys have an end date?
depends who you talk to. If you talk to Lisa, or you talk to me.
Yeah.
We want it. We just right now it's just get it done as soon as possible.
Yeah. Like
Um,
at like end of summer
I'll be it'll by
before.
the end, but I hope by the end of fall we'll be in there.
Yeah.
By the end of this year, fall. It'd be nice to be in by Christmas. We should be. We should be. Once we get the framed in and the roof on, it'll go quick. It's not. It's a
Yeah.
bungalow too, so it's not 2-story. So the floor's already done. So
Super cool, man.
yeah. So
That's gonna be a cool feeling when it's all done and you walk in for the first time. That'd be a cool
yeah.
feeling. That'd be a cool
Yeah,
feeling.
it'll be, and it'll always be stuff. Once we get the house done, then there's, the back has like a porch that's got to be closed. There'll always be stuff, but the main thing is we have our stuff set up and we're living our life, and then the other stuff can take longer. It's just having the kitchen sink
Yeah,
working
sure,
and the
sure.
stove
Having
and
the coffee ready to go and
that's right. Yeah, the
start
correct
moving, right?
work.
Love it, man.
That's pretty much it, and then we'll just pick off these little things as we go, and then go back out and make some money, pay the bills.
Go out and make some money.
Yeah.
The cycle starts all over
Buy
again.
some more camera gear.
Buy some more gear. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with
What do you
that.
think about all the changes? What are you shooting now? Are you shooting any of the
I'm on a I'm
new?
on I'm on a Canon RP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm still at DSLR Nikon. I haven't gone to
the mirrorless yet.
that. No, I just have the Sony. I just use the Sony and mostly for video with that.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
still
whatever
like.
works for you, man. Like
Well, that's it,
whatever
right?
gear works for you, whatever gets you the shot
Exactly.
that you like. Like it's
And I think today though, like I mean, some of this DSLR stuff is selling for a great price on like marketplace,
sure you can
and
get
the
some great
stuff,
stuff.
and it's only you figure that technology is though they've come out with the new mirrorless stuff. That other
Yeah.
technology is still new.
Yeah.
Like you want to get into photography today, you can get a good deal on a camera.
Oh yeah.
Like 10 years ago, it wasn't as easy,
No.
but now, man, you can get a really
Yeah.
good camera.
The
Like
cost
they,
at the cost of entry is definitely lower, especially with phones, obviously. But if you want to move past a phone,
yeah.
the cost of entry
Well,
is
I always
not it's
tell
not
people,
terrible.
you know, the old story, right? I want to get a camera. I want to get into photography, and I go, "Do you have
Yeah.
a phone?" And they go, "Yeah." And I go, "Well, you got a camera. Show me what you take with it." I say,
Yeah.
Your photos aren't good yet. So,
Yeah.
if your photos aren't good on your phone, you don't need a camera."
Yeah. It's about the eye more, right?
It is. And you had that gentleman you had on your show. I watched
Yeah.
the guy from Wales. What was his name?
Oh,
Ryan.
Daniel. Yeah.
Daniel, and
Daniel.
he
Yeah.
made some really good points. That was a good podcast.
Thank you.
And he was what was he talking about? He was talking about I can't even remember what he was talking about. That's what happens when you're 60. But he made some good points about art, how
Yeah,
photography is art,
it is.
and it's like if it's like music. It's like Taylor Swift. Like a lot of
Sure.
people like Taylor Swift, but
Yeah.
the reason she's so popular is a large amount of people like her music.
Yeah.
Whether you consider it, you know, whatever great music, whatever you want to do with Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But the thing is, she appeals to a lot of people. So how you edit your photos and
Hmm.
how you shoot your photos, how popular your photos will depend on how they connect with other people, and that's
Sure.
art. Your
Yeah.
vision, how does your vision attract the mainstream? And that's how you make money in music or whatever.
Mm.
You got to fit in there. And when you do art, it's what comes out of your head. So you see these real eccentric artists and stuff like that that appeal to a small amount of people. That's because that group of people are a bit different and they connect to that art.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people don't get a lot of music. That's why a lot of people don't get a lot of art. There's art that I don't
Yeah.
get. It's
Yeah.
not that the art's no good. It's just that it doesn't, like, you know.
Yeah. Doesn't really resonate to you, but
Yeah,
it resonates to someone else.
I don't listen to a lot of heavy metal, but
Yeah.
it's certainly good music. It's
Sure.
great art. It's great talent, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't work for me. So,
Yeah.
but that's just me. I gotta listen.
Yeah. Well, there's
And
always the argument of
photography's
like,
the same, and people don't. I think people don't realize that about photography. It's like wedding. He was talking about doing wedding photography and stuff like that.
yeah.
And certain photographers appeal to a large mass of people the way they edit. I'm more of a
True.
high contrast. I'm more of a high contrast photographer.
Yeah. How come?
It's just that's what I like.
It's
Like
your style,
I edit the photo to what I like.
right?
Like I don't edit the thing. I don't edit the picture and say, oh yeah, this I don't like this, but they will. You can't. But you got to edit. You got to edit the photo
The
to
dangerous
what you
road.
like, and then you put it out there, and then people come and
Yeah.
say, "Wow, I
Sure.
really like your work. Okay, I'll hire
Yeah.
you."
Yeah.
But so the artist that appeals to the most people will get the most work, and that's it's like a sports team. It's like a sports team. A sports team has an appeal to people, whether it's the color, the attitude of the team, the location of the team. I remember like a team, like everyone liked the Seattle Seahawks, and they said the reason they all like the Seattle Seahawks because the colors of their shirt, the silver, the blue, and the green, just
Yeah.
attracted a large amount of people. The colors were cool,
Yeah.
and that's a big part of it, right? So it's the marketing side of it, the thing. But the thing is, with an artist, if you can't trick yourself to doing something else, like if you're a country singer but the money's in heavy metal, let's say, and it's probably the other way around, but which it is. So if you're a heavy metal artist and you want to start doing country, you're not going
Yeah.
to get far. Your
No.
passion's not going to be there, but you're
No.
doing it to chase the buck.
Yeah. But then
So I think
are
it's
you
the
really
same
an artist then if
photography.
you're doing that? There's always the
Yeah,
argument, are you an artist if you're just chasing money?
yeah, exactly. And I
Right.
think that, yeah, exactly.
Like it's not, you know. Yeah, like I don't think Picasso painted because he wanted to impress his audience. He just did it because that's his thing. and
Oh
people like
yeah,
Picasso. That's what
exactly,
happened.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I think today though with Instagram and social media, everyone's trying to. It's like if you look
Well,
at
they
the
have the drug, right? They got the drug. They want the drug of like the likes and the followers and the
yeah,
validation. That's a drug that people want.
it's like how filters changed in Instagram. Do you think
Yeah.
Instagram, for example, is changing those filters willy nilly, or are they looking at what people are editing their pictures for,
Yeah, of course.
and then they're now making the filters look that way so people can have that look, and then it changes.
Mm,
Remember,
yeah.
a few years ago, everything had that kind of faded look. Every
Yeah.
picture had a faded
Yeah.
look.
Right,
Everyone
right.
was like, you go on your curves, and dress up, and give that faded look, right?
Yeah.
And that's everyone was doing that, and like the edits become fashionable almost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. You
I
do
think
you do need to edit to you though.
you do. At the end of the day, I think so.
You do
So
because otherwise it just stops becoming fun.
yeah, but I think the thing that I was saying though, that depending on your style could
Yeah.
affect how profitable or how popular you'll be, because
Yeah.
does your style attract to the mainstream, and
Yeah.
that's the
I
big thing.
yeah.
I felt mine does. I didn't think mine did. I think,
Really?
yeah, I like it, and a lot of people like my photography and stuff like that. But I'm just wondering, do they? It's one of those things you wonder. Do people
Do
get the?
people like me? Do people like me?
Well, it
Yeah, I
doesn't.
don't know.
There, I mean, yeah, like if you're advertising for wedding photography, I mean, what are those people look? I mean, what are they looking at? Are they looking at the shot, or are they looking at the edit, or is it maybe it's the whole thing? But
Yeah, I
what
don't know.
is I mean,
I think sometimes it's also like a people thing. Like if you're trying to get like a wedding gig and like the wedding couple like you and trust you, I
yeah, I
think
think
you're
that's
more likely to get the
that.
gig.
Yeah, because you're spending the whole day with them too, right? Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah, you
you
could have
gotta,
the best work possible, but if they can't trust you,
yeah, or
then,
you're just annoying at the wedding, or you just like
yeah, like
not
it's a
showing any interest in what they want you, because
yeah, if
a
they're
lot of
not
people
yeah.
don't realize when you're a photographer, your job is not just to take the picture, but you're setting everything up. You actually become the wedding planner that day, because you got to get
Yeah,
all the shots. You got to get the ring shots. You got to get
of course.
all the stuff at the
Yeah,
service,
you gotta talk with all
all
the
that, all
family
the family.
members, you gotta coordinate with every
It's like, yeah,
member.
like you got to gather people, and I've shot for people that just don't really give you any direction that day, any
Right,
help.
right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like you're okay. So where's Aunt so and so? Where's Uncle Joe? Like get
Yeah.
these people over here now, or we're not gonna get the picture stuff. We
Yeah,
got and doing that in a
yeah,
nice way and making it happen. Like you got to do
yeah.
that, because
You're
at the end of
trusted
the
with
day,
that
yeah,
job.
you send the
Yeah,
pictures over, and they go, "Where's all the family pictures?" Well, you
yeah,
didn't gather everybody for me, so
right.
well, you're the
Well,
photographer. Where's
are you
so yeah,
sure?
there's a lot of like people don't realize when a photographer charges like $3,000, let's say, there's a lot of work that day. Not to mention all
The
the editing
editing,
later.
not to mention the editing, which is even more
Yeah,
work. But
it is a lot of work. People don't
but
realize.
yeah, I think in the end when you're trying to get like work, be it like whatever, you're shooting like a wedding or you're shooting like a small business or you're shooting whatever. In the end, it's a people thing too, because yeah, now like you're selling your work and also
Mhm.
you're selling yourself.
Exactly.
Like, who
Like
are you and what do you do?
if someone sends you, if I got a cafe and I say I want you to come in and shoot our cafe for a
Yeah,
video, you all of a sudden have to know a lot about a cafe business, because now you've got to bring it to life in the camera. You just can't shoot stuff.
no,
You need a flow. You need to know. You got to
yeah, every
understand it. So
yeah,
you're not just a photographer. That's what a lot of
no,
people forget.
no,
That's where the art comes in, of
yeah,
how do I get these people what they want
yeah,
from this space, and bring it together. And I think that's
yeah.
and that's what and again, you got to like that. Otherwise,
Yeah, you got that's again the difference between doing it for yourself and doing it for others, where if you're trying to make it like a side gig or whatever, you have to understand people and understand what is it that you want, like what are your
yeah.
challenges, like, you need to
But
be able to
it's not so at the end of the day, it's not taking a picture anymore. It's like if you and
it's
I said,
not.
let's go walk around and take some pictures downtown. Okay, oh, that's good. Great day. But then at a wedding, it's not like that.
No, it's
It's
not.
not
It's
much. Again,
not.
you
You
got to
are
work.
in, yeah,
You're
you are in the
you're working.
throes of it. You are in the throes of it.
You
Yeah.
are, yeah, exactly. So I think photography, when they hear photography, I want to get into. When someone says, "Oh, I'm going to get into photography, I'm going to do this, that." It's like any business. It's like I like making coffee, so I'm going to open a cafe. Well, you're not making coffee. Someone else is going to be doing that. You could be doing something else.
Yeah, you never see the owner sometimes at a small business. Like you never see the actual owner. It's always other people working.
Well, yeah. Well, they're running around getting
They're
stuff,
running
or what.
around.
We're always there though. But yeah, it's or you see the owner there because they can't afford to hire anybody else.
Yeah, or that too. Or that too.
Yeah.
Or that too. No, it's good. It's a good point you make, especially with like the future of AI and stuff, and like where the future is going with like
Well, that's
photography and
it.
just like content creation, and you
You know,
know,
I had a thought when I was driving down. I was thinking about things to talk about, and for some reason, it came to my head. I'd love to shoot a wedding with an iPhone.
I'm sure it's been done.
Oh, I'm sure it has. I'm sure
I'm
it's
sure
been
it's
done
been done.
many times.
Maybe that's that person's thing. It's like I am hiring you because you're the best with the iPhone.
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen guys make movies on them and stuff
Of
like that.
course, of
Easy.
course.
But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's all about how you use what you have to get the desired result. You know, it's
yeah,
that's why to me, like gear is obviously important, but like it's what you do with it too. It's like
yeah, yeah,
you're trying to make a movie. You can have all the greatest equipment, but like what's the story behind it? Like what are you trying to do? Like
yeah,
what is it that you're trying to tell the audience? And people can do that great on a phone,
yeah.
and people can do it great on a $10,000 camera. It's like, give me the story. What is it? What is it?
I was doing editing tutorials on over COVID on Snapseed on my,
Yeah, of
and it was fun
course.
to take a picture and show people how to edit. A lot
Yeah,
of people message me asking me if what's this do, what's that,
Snapseed's great. Yeah.
and it was fun.
Yeah, it's great. It's just what is it that you can do? And
Yeah. It's water. I here.
Roy, always a double-edged sword working for a client. It's not easy to put up with demands or styles not your own. Very true, Roy. Gotta be careful these days.
Yeah.
Especially with everyone kind of like the illusion of like doing photo or whatever for work, and it's like everyone thinks that they're a photographer. Everyone thinks that they can make videos, but until you're actually in it, you don't really know what's involved. To what we just spoke about, like the other like moving pieces and all
Yeah.
that stuff, working with clients, understanding deadlines and edits and changes, and it's like sometimes the client will say something to you. It's like I don't agree with that at all, but you gotta say yes because they're paying you.
Yeah.
That should be black and white. You gotta make it black and
And
white.
I found video too, like wedding videos. I've shot a few wedding videos, and I've done some music videos, and they're real challenging too because where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
The length of clips, what clips, and it's
Right.
again you've got it, and the creativity you need to do that is, and it's like you've never done. You're always
No. There's always something to do.
there's all you're always editing.
Always.
Uh,
Always. Never
should I
ends.
do this? And but it's rewarding though if it turns out. Like I did a music video for Julian Taylor, a Toronto artist, and he has management team and everybody else behind him. So after I had shot him all day recording with his
Yeah.
band, and then it was really photos, but I set up and shot video, and
Yeah.
then it was months later he messaged me and said, "Oh, do you have the video from that one song?" And they kind of did it live on the floor, and I said, "Yeah, I do. Let me see." And he goes, "Can you do a video for us?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." So, but it worked out great. But then I had to present it to them. They had to look at it, and then they came back with a couple of changes. I made
Right.
the changes, and it was good because what they wanted
Yeah.
actually was the right thing to do, which was nice. Like it
Beautiful.
was, I wasn't like, what?
You
No,
sure
I was
about
like,
that?
yeah. So we tried, and then I added a little bit in there, and it all worked out great. But yeah, it was an interesting,
It's good. It's good. It's good it
very,
worked out
very
that way.
fortunate project for me because yeah, that's what you want when someone
It's
can.
always a dream. It's always a dream.
It is. It's nice to get that kind of gig and do that. So
Yeah, 100%, man. Unfortunately, they're not all like that, but it's good that that happened for you.
no, no. I've done. I mean, you know yourself, right? When you're starting out doing photography, you're always doing stuff for people and helping them out.
Yeah, 100%. Everyone claims to be photographer, dealing with percent clients within budgets. Yes, Roy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But especially again with like the future of like AI and who knows where it's going to be in like a year, 2 years.
Yeah,
And my thing is like they're only showing you what they want to show us. They're not even
yeah,
showing us what's
right.
behind
You
the
haven't
curtain yet.
seen it. Yeah, but there's always more.
Where it's like the Terminator is behind the curtain, coming for us.
Yeah, but no, it isn't. Yeah, and it's like the thing is too. I'm at my age of 60. Like I've seen so much technology change.
Right,
Like my
right.
kids haven't, but I have. Like
You've seen it, yeah, yeah,
man,
yeah.
I remember when the Polaroid camera came in. That was massive.
Shout out to the
Oh,
Polaroid camera.
yeah, when the Polaroid camera came in, my dad had one, and it was like, what? Polar, you press the button and that's it. That's
But
the
they're
one.
back now, aren't they?
Well, they come back there. Yeah, you can kind of, but the films. I don't think the film's very cheap,
Right.
and they're not that great. But
Yeah.
but I've seen it like even with music. Like I mean, I listen to vinyl now. I listen to vinyl again. I luckily enough I saved all my vinyl over the years. But it's interest. But the reason I went back to vinyl wasn't. I mean, I do like the quality of it because I have a nostalgic connection to it. That's what I
Yeah.
listened to when I was a kid. And I loved the idea of getting up and changing it and turning it over and
Right.
everything, not shuffling it.
Almost like a ritual.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
for me, music got destroyed when you could had so much freedom with it, listening to it, because you could listen to anything. It's like
Yeah.
if
So on spot.
if I cooked a meal for you and that's all the food we had, and you listened to that, you ate that meal, you'd love it. But if I
Right.
gave you the choice of anything, you're just overwhelmed with food, and it wouldn't be the same. It
Right.
just
Right.
wouldn't.
Right.
So
Interesting point. Interesting
you
point.
put that
Yeah.
record on, you're not shuffling it. You're listening to it, and it's going to end in
Interesting
a
point.
clip, and then you know what's on the other side, and it was that thing. So, but that's again, that's going back. That's my past memories and stuff like that.
Yeah. What's your favorite vinyl?
What type? What music? What record?
Yeah. If you had to
Oh,
pick one.
do I have a favorite record?
Yeah.
Favorite?
Or one that you play like a lot.
Oh, right now, my favorite vinyl record. God, I don't even think I could pick a vinyl.
No.
Genesis Seconds Out, live album by Genesis, maybe
Yeah.
1977. But 70s was my time. And have you ever heard of the reminiscence bump?
No.
Okay, so when you get to a certain age, when you're a teenager, you're storing all your memory. You're experiencing life and you're storing all your memory. Most of the memory, 30% of your memory is from your adolescence,
30%?
apparently. So
Yeah.
what happens is when you get older, you know how older people tend to older people always talk about their past when they were
Yeah.
younger, the good
Sure.
old days. You know,
The
the
good
good
old
old days.
days. Yeah.
That's because when they get older, that memory is very fresh still. It's there. It's
From
that
adolescence.
from your adolescence. So with if you grew up listening to music, and which I did, I was massively into music when in my teenage years, like crazy. Now, when I sit back in my music room and I put on let's say I put on a Hotel California by the Eagles, for example,
Yeah.
that album will take me back to when I was a teenager
Cool.
and how it felt to be a teenager.
Hmm.
Like how the experience of what it felt like was just you didn't have a care in the world. And it gives you that feeling. And there's a scientific term for it, and it's called a reminiscence bump. If you Google reminiscence bump, it talks about how you have that connection. So like my mother, her music would be like the 50s rock and roll, like Elvis and that kind of thing. That would be her teenage years.
The reminiscence bump. It's times
Yeah.
older. Increase recollection for events that occurred during an early adulthood. Wow, I did not know that.
It's crazy.
I did not know that. This is
Yeah.
a scientific thing?
It's crazy. Yeah. And it's crazy. And the thing is when you, so now when I listen to music, people don't get it. I can actually it's like a time machine with a really good system, with a really good stereo system. And,
Wow.
man, if you throw an edible in there too, it's like
Yeah, I bet.
crazy. It's crazy. It's like you're in there. So you play like the stuff you listened to when you were an adolescent. So,
Wow.
and fortunately, I think the 70s did have some incredible music.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to be born in or be an adolescent in that time.
A
So
reminiscence bump. I
yeah,
did not know that, man.
yeah. I started questioning because I go, why do I feel like this when I'm listening to music? Why does it make me feel like I'm walking down this street that I used to know, and
Yeah.
I don't have a care in the world. And so I looked it up, and sure enough, it takes you back to when. And now, if you had a terrible childhood, might not be the best thing to do.
No.
You know.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And I don't. And the funny thing is, my wife, she never listened to music when she was younger. Italian household, they never
Right.
listened to like the popular
Really?
music. So
Really?
she never had like,
Hmm.
they didn't have like the music like I had. So when we list, like, it's hard for her to get that same experience.
Mm.
So I think it's highly connected to music listeners, or
Yeah.
doing something that was big in your teenage years. So
Yeah, I guess that's what we say. Always sometimes like the music brings you back to like that moment or that feeling,
well,
and
that's it. That's what kind of what.
that's what
But
that
get
is,
older,
eh?
say it starts happening in the 40s, 50s. But
Right.
I noticed since I started, and
Yeah.
some nights I'll listen to music for 4 hours, like sometimes
Yeah.
a week.
That's cool though. It's
Yeah,
kind of makes you like in the moment too, right?
it
Like you're
is.
just
It's
in
like
the moment.
meditative,
You're not
almost
distracted.
meditative.
You're there.
Yeah, because I know if I'm like this and then I'm listening to music and I pick up my phone, I start looking at my
Yeah.
phone. It's like the music steps back.
Sure.
Put
Yeah.
the
You
phone
want
down,
the
music comes back in again.
right.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
No,
Your
it's good.
attention.
I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
super cool, man.
So that's kind of cool.
You're gonna have a killer man cave when your house is all done.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It's gonna be super rad.
Motivation. It's motivation. My wife says.
Motivation to get it going. Yeah, absolutely, man. Love it. Well, we're kind of up against it, man. So I just want to say
Yeah, it's been a great
thanks
chat.
again for coming on. Love to have you back on. Maybe when the house is finished, maybe you can show some finished
Let's do
photos and all
that.
that.
Let's do a show, and we'll walk through the
I
trials and
love
tribulations,
it.
what it took to build it, and
Super
where I am
rad.
with the camera at that point. And but no, I appreciate you having me on. It was great. It was great to squeeze it in.
Yeah, I
And
figured to say I get
I love it.
different folks on different
Yeah.
perspectives. And do you want to leave off with just some like final words or advice for people out there?
I don't know. Just try to release some stress, folks. try to drop
Really?
some baggage somehow. Just
Yeah,
life gets better. Clear head. That's all I can
life
say.
gets better. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Thanks
All right.
again, everyone. Thanks for watching, listening,
Thank you.
wherever this thing is, and go check out Mark. His links are in the description, and we'll chat soon, man.
See you, man.
Have a great
Thanks.
weekend.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Ciao.